What is Ledbury? How would our viewers recognize this brand?
Ledbury's a men's luxury shirt maker. We're based in Richmond, Virginia. We've been around for about 10 years to the day, and we started kind of with the whole idea of making shirts that fit better, feel better, and last longer than anything else in the closet. So we do that through our e-commerce business. We have about 50,000 customers, our own network stores, and then sort of retailers throughout the country.
So you're an American company based in Richmond, Virginia, but you have been affected by this administration's tariffs policy. Can you walk me through that? How have you been impacted and why?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think like any modern apparel brand, like we're a global business and have a global supply chain. And so when you start talking about that, obviously like tariffs are a big issue. I think one of the things that's interesting is when people think about tariffs or the new tariffs that have happened recently, it's like, well, there's all this free trade and now we're adding tariffs to it. That's not the case, particularly in the shirt business and on the apparel business. Our tariffs are about like 19.5% on everything we bring in. In most businesses, I think the average is around 1.4. So it really
pretty high already.
Yeah, so it's already, there's a high bar already for what we're paying for as a tariff, and we understand that's part of it, and that's fine. That's sort of built into our business model. But I think the question is when you have additive tariffs on top of that.
Can you what are the numbers that you can sort of share in terms of just how the tariffs have impacted you? What does that jump mean from if it is 19 and it jumps to 35? Yeah,
well, I think tariffs can affect us in a couple different reasons. Ways. Like obviously there's the cost, so it's just going to make things like go up more, and that's meaningful. I mean, on a shirt, our shirts average from $100 to $150. They're not inexpensive product, but an additional 15% on our cost basis can be challenging. A couple other things happen. I mean, if we're bringing in product from, let's say, China recently, before the most recent tariffs came in, everyone was trying to move product out of Asia to the United States before those tariffs went in, so shipping prices went up. Just things became more expensive across the board. And I think lastly, when tariffs happen, it's not only what happens to us, but what happens to our suppliers. So we're in Turkey, for example. There's amazing history of craftsmanship in Turkey, and particularly in the shirt making business. When the tariffs were hit last year with Turkey, they were on steel. But it didn't affect our shirt making business. But all of a sudden, because the Turkish economy was already in recession and things were a little wobbly, investment money got pulled out, banking lines seized up, and all of a sudden became, maybe our suppliers are struggling much more, which then affects us down the line.
Considering the moving targets, considering how unpredictable this is, what is your worst case scenario with how this could play out?
I mean, I think the worst case scenario is that, there's a 15% tariff that happens, in China, which is a smaller piece of our business. Let's say more tariffs happen in other countries where we're producing.
Turkey.
Yeah, Turkey or Italy or Scotland. Who knows where they might come to next? Most likely not, but it could happen, particularly with the unpredictability of what's happening now. I mean, at the end of the day, we make shirts. And we make amazing shirts that people love, and they come back again and again. We take care of those folks. So we just have to keep doing that. So it's predictable. We should be able to run that business year on year for the next 10 years. But if tariffs happen and we need to move supply chains, then that could not only affect our business from a supply chain perspective, but what if it takes us a year to make a shirt as good as we make it in Turkey in the new place where we go? What
are the challenges to manufacturing here in the States?
Yeah, I think, there's two challenges. One is certainly cost. So from a labor cost perspective, it's more expensive. And so that ends up with the customer becomes a lot more expensive. I think the other thing is the availability of people and sort of factories to be able to produce the type of like clothing volume that we're consuming in the United States. If 40 years ago we were making 97% of our clothing and today we're making 3%, we've lost generations of that know-how of people who know how to sew, know how to craft patterns. And
that skill set.
So I think when we're looking at American manufacturing, I think there's spots of strength for it. In the apparel business, there's people that are doing interesting things from a customization perspective. But I think like the large mass scale production that we're used to today, it's very difficult to do in the United States. And so we just have to do it in a more creative way.
Let's talk about the consumer side of things. What can people expect this holiday season? As probably a lot of shirts, a lot of other things are going to be bought. Will they see prices go up over the holidays?
I think there will be some prices that go up on the holidays. I think that's obvious, but I think it's going to be marginal compared to what will happen next year. I think a lot of brands and a lot of companies brought in products and stockpiled them before the holiday season and before the tariffs went into effect. So I think there's a little bit of a grace period. The real question is, does the Trump administration, do the Chinese, does it continue to the new year? If it does, those products have already been bought through summertime, through fall. That's when you're going to see.
Got a bit of a buffer.
That's when you see things go up $5, $10, $15, and it's gonna hurt consumers' wallets eventually. We're not raising them at this point, so we're actually taking that for the customer right now, and I think we're hopeful that there's.
So you're feeling that cost right
So
now.
We're feeling that. So what that's going to do is really sacrifice our margin for the business, and so that's something that we've tried to build in as quickly as we could react to it, but we're not necessarily going to be. And if tariffs go, into countries where we operate from, 15 to 30 and, 35% continuing up, like that really would be, really detrimental to the business. And we'd have to figure out a creative way to spread those costs around.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.